Start the recording. Look at that timing. Hello, my name is Danielle Snyder, and I am really excited to chat with you about how to transition smoothly to fall and how to do so with a positive mindset. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm excited to present on behalf of HPHC and the Tufts Health Plan. So I even wore my flannel shirt, even though it doesn't really feel like fall over here for this discussion. And I actually happen to be a huge fan of fall, but with it often comes some challenges where there's less light, colder temperatures, and naturally our bodies have more of a desire to actually hibernate. So we're going to start with a meditation to get our minds all ready and set. And then we'll talk about how to transition smoothly. So I want to first ask you to do everything in your power to minimize any type of noises or distractions. So that would mean like shut your door, turn off your phone, shut down your email, whatever it is. And I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. Okay, then I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. You can shut your eyes if you feel comfortable. And let's start by counting down from 5. This is a great way to practice relaxing when we're stressed and also get our minds ready for our meditation. So do so in your own head with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Imagine yourself outside in the beautiful autumn air. Pretend for a moment that you are the wind. You glide peacefully along on this sunny, pleasant day. The air smells crisp all around you. Along your journey, you pick up some leaves that come along with you for a distance. How wonderful to feel the connection to these unique, beautiful autumn leaves. To know you are not separate, but that you are one with everything you see. Sometimes you are strong, and other times you are very gentle. Feel your gentle strength now as you calmly blow across the trees and the rich earth. And now imagine changing into a leaf floating on the wind. Feel yourself as a beautiful soft leaf bending back and forth with the wind, riding very far and dancing in it. You do this so beautifully, gliding so gracefully. You are letting the wind carry you where it wants. Think of the tree and how it just let go of the leaf. Can you think of times when it feels good to just let things go? Now again, as the leaf, you turn over and look at the big sky. How vast and open it is. Become the bright sky now. You cover the whole earth. Feel the clouds move all about you, floating along as the wind moves them gently. Feel how large and protective you are. You cover everything, protecting the animals and the people. People gaze up at you in wonder to see how magnificent you are. Within the sky now, become aware of one cloud among the others. Become that cloud now. Feel that softness and that lightness of your cloud body. Feel yourself as a cloud, move, change, shape as you want, releasing the tension and the weight from below. And when you have troubles or worries, you can let them go and drift peacefully into a calm state. Now, let's start to drift back down to earth, back down into your chair, becoming yourself again. When you are ready, you can open your eyes and join me in the room. Whenever I'm feeling stressed, overwhelmed, tired, really any emotion, I can turn to meditation, a brief meditation that took 5 minutes, to become more centered and grounded. That ability exists inside all of us and gets easier with practice. At any point when you feel you need a time to attune back into yourself, you could Google meditation. And I want to offer you that skill to practice beyond just this week. So, as I was saying, for those of you who joined in the last few minutes, fall is a really interesting time of year. And it is exciting because it offers and lends us new opportunities. Anytime the season changes, that's the truth. But it also can be challenging to say goodbye to summer and return to a more inside lifestyle, or dark, because it gets dark earlier. And so there's a really beautiful practice of rituals to help welcome in the new season and also help keep you on track so you don't feel like the transition to fall is a negative thing. So I wanted to offer you the top 10 tips of welcoming fall in. And the first thing that I like to encourage people to do is to pause and actually remember your 10 best summer memories. The act of writing helps us access not only the right brain, which is for creativity, but also the left brain, which is more analytical. Journaling about positive memories from your summer can help you become more mindful and close the chapter on the summer and focus on the present. So journaling matches the left and the right brain, because the left brain is the writing and the right brain is the creative part. And so by writing about those memories, you're really using all the best parts of your brain, and you're allowing yourself to close that chapter and remember what you appreciated about it, what was special about it, and really celebrate those experiences. So I want you to look at your calendar right now. This is actually a great activity to do with kids as well. And put a time down that you can actually practice this or do this. And I think it's really hard when we're so busy. And that's why utilizing your calendar and just choosing a day and time is a great way to make sure it's not just a thought, but you put it into practice. Okay, so that's the first opportunity. The next opportunity continues on this message of closing the summer and appreciating the summer. But one of the things that can happen if we don't allow for the proper closure is we can get stuck when it's next summer, not having as much time and energy as we want because we have to do this. And that is organizing and packing away your summer gear. The sooner you can do that, it's a really beautiful opportunity to do the transition. You can set aside time to wash and get rid of summer supplies, keep the clothing that's meaningful for you or that fits, and then release or donate the hand-me-downs. And you can do the same thing with your outdoor supplies like tents, tables, pool toys. And so because it often takes a little bit more time than we'd like. I encourage you also to think about that and think like, okay, when is this a reasonable process to start? And processes, while can be frustrating, are super helpful ritually in a ritualistic manner to help us really close chapters. So I want to give you another second and give you the opportunity to look at your calendar and think about, when can I make time for this? And it doesn't have to be a huge chunk. It could be a small chunk. You could do it in small chunks, but it's really helpful if you do it sooner rather than later because it's an opportunity. Just take a quick look. Think about it and see if you can find a time. The next thing, which can be really challenging because transitions are challenging as well as wonderful, is I'm trying to think of this word, but like welcome a new flow or a new schedule. Our routines shift with the seasons. If you have children, fall is a time that kids go back to school and there can be activities. For other people, if it could be that you travel more in the fall, or maybe it's that you don't go outside as much and you want to start indoor projects. Oftentimes I think we believe going back to school or work is a bummer, but it also can be a new chapter in an opportunity. So with it, instead of jumping into feeling overwhelmed, I want to encourage you to make a list of what is important to you and anyone that you live with. That list could include exercise, sleep, nutrition, new goals, downtime, and find a way that you can all see it. So I really like Google has a family calendar, or I'm a visual person. I like everything written out, and me and my partner, we have a big calendar. It's like one of those big box ones, and it's actually right in front of me. So that's why I'm doing that. And we write down our different schedules. And we also put in it when we are going to do these transition fall practices. And then we adapt our new schedule because, I really like walking my dogs in the morning, but when it starts to get dark, I don't love walking them alone in the morning. And so I ask him to join. And sometimes he can't join. So I have to walk them in the evening before it gets dark. So things like that, really sitting down with the family and creating a schedule that's going to highlight the changes of the season as well as the normal changes of people's schedule. The next thing is exercise and movement. So when you are creating this schedule, it can be super easy to stop moving as much or as consistently when we welcome fall. And that's just not only because of our circadian rhythms and our body's natural desire to sleep more in the winter without as much vitamin D, but also because our days are shorter and it's harder to get outside. And so movement is one of those key essential activities that help us survive fall and winter. It makes us feel better. It helps us continue to have strong bones, and it increases our energy as well as our emotional well-being. So 30 minutes of exercise at least every other day, preferably 5 out of 7 days a week, is a great opportunity to stay not only physically healthy, but also mentally healthy. So when you are creating those new schedules, talking to your family about it or friends about it, it can be really helpful so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle or the transition of fall. And it doesn't have to be all in one go. You could park your car further away from work. You can meet your friends for a lunch break and go for a walk. Any of those smaller chunks add up and make a big difference. The next tip is making sure that you remain social. So as I was saying before, there's just a natural inclination to hibernate as fall and winter come. When we don't take the time to connect, it really impacts our overall physical and mental health. And the Journal of Health and Social Behavior recently published an article that says it can also impact our cognition. So naturally, during the winter, outside of holidays, we just get together less. There's less daylight. We're doing things less outside. And so we really have to prioritize when we're busy, making sure we continue to connect with support system. And again, it doesn't have to be a lot, but a little bit goes a long way. And then the great thing about this, especially in fall, is that we can find different hobbies or activities that honor the fall season. So it could be going to a pumpkin patch or a maze, or doing different arts and crafts, or getting ready for Halloween, exploring an online course. I know we're all very, very busy, but the more, again, that we can create a routine that allows for these opportunities to socialize and exercise, the better it will be for us to survive the winter, which can be really draining. I mean, rates of depression often increase in winter, and that can be a multitude of factors, including, we get less sunlight, so our vitamin D decreases, as well as we're not as social and we're not doing as many fun things. So after I just told you all these things you should do, which is kind of ironic, I want to talk to you about taking downtime. We're so focused on doing more. And while, yes, it's helpful, it is still really important to take time for ourselves. So even though I want you to be around other people and exercise, it is also really important to take those 5 to 10 minutes a day just to be. And that can be a shower, it could be a meditation, it could be just sitting there or laying on the ground. The more we can just allow ourselves to be present and connect with ourselves, the better it can be long-term for our mental health. The challenging part is fitting everything in and being realistic about it. And when we talk about that transition from fall, I often talk about all the things we should be doing. And when it can get kind of confusing and mind-boggling to also be like, and slow down. But in order to outlast the winter, we really do need to slow down. And slowing down doesn't necessarily mean that we're not doing something. It could mean we're doing something quietly. One of my favorite things about fall is the opportunity to do nature walks and be really present with looking at the different colors, smelling the fall, and that is downtime. We're not necessarily walking for exercise, we're walking to be present. And another thing that I often find good or useful for downtime is practicing seasonal cooking. Right around the end of summer, I have to tell you, I get sick of summer food. I am like, I have had enough of summer vegetables and everything summer related. Not that I'm a big pumpkin spice fan, but there's a reason that comes around in the fall and why people love it. It's welcoming the fall season. And so fall cooking is really a great opportunity to kind of practice downtime, as well as connect to being more appreciative about fall. So, there's pumpkin, there's apples, there's warm spices. As the weather gets colder, it's actually good to have warmer seasoning and warmer food because it helps keep us warm, our internal temperature. And so really leaning into that. It's really cool because our bodies have this natural desire to transition with the season. So we get tired, we want to go to bed earlier, we crave different foods. And one of the fun things that we can do is align with that and be curious about it. Rather than get frustrated when it gets dark early, what if you started downtime then? Or you went to bed a little bit earlier? And so, again, I understand that that's not always reasonable because we live in a really busy world, but we can at least get curious about it. I think the other thing on top of the seasonal cooking is also having warm beverages. That often can help warm us internally and help us as our bodies transition from summer temperatures to fall temperatures. Because I personally, one of my challenges is I get really cold in the fall and the winter and I hate it. So if I adapt my diet and the drinks to be warmer, I feel warmer too. Some of the, outside of those 10 tips I provided you, some of the other things that I like to work with clients on is being aware of some essential messages, or let me think about that, things to pay attention to. So in fall, our vitamin D levels often decrease. It's normal. It happens because we're getting less sunlight. So being aware of that, talking to your healthcare provider about it, and getting those levels checked to determine if we need a vitamin D supplement, or you can also get it organically through certain foods, like I believe, let me just think. So oranges, nuts and seeds, omega-3s, fresh berries, they all naturally increase our vitamin D, which just helps with our energy. So it's something to be aware of while we're diving into that seasonal cooking or seasonal awareness. It can be really helpful to be focusing on getting the nutrients that keep our vitamin D up. The other thing that can happen during the fall and winter season is seasonal affective disorder. And this is really natural. It happens to a lot of people, and it's because we're getting less sunlight. There are these lamps called SAD lamps, which is the funny name for them. I've never really thought about that, but seasonal affective disorder lamps, and you can get them on Amazon. And the recommendation is, I believe it's 20 to 30 minutes in the morning when you wake up, putting it on your face or your body while you're drinking coffee, really has shown to improve mood and help us survive the darker months. And I know it can often feel like, well, it's a lot to sit for 30 minutes and let this lamp shine on me. However, as we talked about, like the downtime, the slowing down, and honoring our body, we could even do that laying in bed or drinking our coffee. So they do recommend you do it every day, which I understand is a lot, but it has really helped people feel better during this transition season. And it's normal to feel lower energy and a lower mood. If you notice that it is impacting you greatly, I would always encourage you to seek out professional help, because you don't have to be more sad during fall and winter. It is a really awesome, beautiful season, and there are different opportunities to enjoy, such as, if you live in a winter town, you can explore different hobbies like snowshoeing and skiing, or just enjoying watching the transition in the trees rather than being so frustrated when it happens, which is also okay, but we can hold both those things. So the awareness of it can help us create a schedule and a plan that allows us to have a meaningful closure to summer and introduction to fall and winter. And I want to go over those points and have you write down notes just so, because I threw a lot of information at you, when you get off the call, you don't forget everything. So the first thing we talked about was journaling about those 10 summer memories. Talking about it with your family and your friends if you would like. The next thing, this is a great routine and ritual, organizing and packing away your summer gear. This will not only help your house be more organized, it will also help your brain, and your house will just be less cluttered. The next thing is adapt your schedule. Sit down with your family, create a schedule that makes sense for you, that honors the change, but also gives space for setting new goals. Prioritize some type of daily exercise or movement. It doesn't have to be all in one. Even though the recommendation is 30 minutes, it could be 15 minutes in the morning. It could be 15 minutes at night. It could even be 5 minutes during lunch. Don't let your social calendar go blank. It is easy to hibernate. It is okay to hibernate, but without social support, our mood is likely to fall more. So trying to see someone or get out, have some fun once a week. And not forgetting to take that downtime. I know downtime feels overwhelming, but if we couple that with a vitamin D sad lamp, it can actually get, I was going to use a horrible phrase, which I'm trying to stop using about a bird, but it can couple two wonderful activities together. Fall does not have to be a negative transition. It is an opportunity to align with the season and create new patterns. I am excited for you all to try this with your families and friends. And within the 2 minutes we have left, I'm curious if there are any questions. Okay, well, I appreciate everyone so much for showing up. Happy fall, pull out your flannels and get cozy. Bye. Thank you.